It's that time again, tuning in to Tea and Honey with Dr. Gwen Jarvis on Thursday afternoon. And the weather is pretty okay, I guess, across the country because nobody seems to be complaining. And I know in the greater Cleveland and beyond area, we are not going to complain because we do not want any SNOW as of yet. And if most people like me, I like the snow, but I like for it to come and go, come on Christmas and to leave so I can proceed in doing the things that I want to do and many of us want to do. However, I do like wearing boots though. But now I guess we can wear boots all year round now. Little housekeeping tips. We want everyone to be vigilant. If you're walking, riding, driving, on the bus, or wherever you are, is to be vigilant, to be safe, to be alert. No texting and driving. It can wait. Because just think, maybe 10, 20 years ago, we weren't even doing that. So let it wait. It can wait because we need to be safe. And before you start out, I like to encourage you because, this is the holiday season. Folks get crazy. In fact, it took me a long time to get to the studio because of the various types of drivers, I'll say. The colorful drivers. So before you start your car, take 3 deep cleansing breaths so you can prepare yourself for what you might encounter on your way home, or even if you're at home and preparing dinner, kids, husband, boyfriend, dogs, animals, whatever. Prepare yourself. So always take that minute and do 3 deep breaths. We have some special guests with us today, and the subject is something that's very sensitive in many communities, but it's something that we need to address because I'm sure they'll give us the statistics, but it's something that we all need to pay attention to because we might be victims and not even know it. And our guests I'll let them introduce themselves.
Hello, everybody. My name is JJ Winston, author of The Anniversary. Nice to talk with you all today.
Okay. All right. And
good afternoon. I'm Teresa Rice. I'm here on behalf of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Greater Cleveland Chapter.
Okay, all right. So we will get started. And we also like to thank Marcella Boyd Cox, who is not with us today, but she says, can we do this? I said, of course, because she is my double sister. So whatever she asks, we're going to get done. And not only that, just find out that these 2 ladies here are also my AK Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorors. So there's means that we have things in common. Mm-hmm. And this discussion we're going to have is something that we also can have in common because it affects our community. Okay? So let's start off first before we get to Miss JJ. She don't want to tell us her name, but that's okay. That's okay.
I'll tell you my name.
Okay.
My name is Judy Jackson Winston, also known as JJ Winston.
Okay. So that's her stage name is JJ? Okay,
Yes.
We'll go with that. So sore, JJ. All right. So let's get started. One thing I have to share with you before, because sometimes even though I make notes, I forget things, is that I have a book here, and I'd appreciate it if you sign it before you leave because I like to remember all my guests. And all my life, I've been a giver. I don't know if the right word is giving or sharing because I was thinking about that in coming as I was traveling here. And I always share something so before you leave, I am going to share something with you all, best known as a gift. Because I don't believe anyone should come here empty-handed.
Okay, thank you.
And the listener, because you're feeding our listeners with something that we need. And the motto of Tea and Honey, first of all, let me tell you why the program is called Tea and Honey. Because for medical reasons, I have to drink green tea and honey. And I've been drinking it all of my life when it used to taste awful. So that's why the name of the program is Tea and Honey, because it's a medical requirement for me.
Excellent.
And
tea
I drink
is good for you too.
Yeah, and I drink it every day. I drink every day. And another thing about our program, we want to make sure that every week our listeners, who we like to thank so much for them listening in, because you never know who's listening and what they're going to receive, that everything that we share with them, we try to make sure that it's empowering,
Mhm.
enlightening, educational, and uplifting.
Excellent.
We can't live without that. What you think?
We agree.
Total agreement.
Okay. But then the motto is to be bold and boundless as a butterfly.
Excellent.
And that's what we want to be. Because we have to be free. If we're not free, we won't, it's different between, if we're not free, we won't be able to advance in what you're doing. So either one of you, so it would not be able to advance because we can't wait for someone else. Because even though there's a script of things that we have to do, you put your own personality in it, and that's what makes it flow.
Right.
And that's the butterfly in you. And we all have butterflies in us. But
I
guess
love
what?
it.
Some people are afraid to use it.
Like Denise Williams, huh?
I like
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
We black butterflies.
Yes. Okay. All right. Let's hear a little bit about. Let's have some about the National Coalition of 100 Black Women.
Well, like butterflies, we are very bold, we are visionaries, and we have a storied tradition and history. We came into an existence in 1970 in New York City, and as of this date, we have over 8,000 visionary members of our organization from over 25 states and the District of Columbia. Here in the state of Ohio, in Greater Cleveland, we have been serving the Greater Cleveland community since 1990 with our visionary leader, Margaret Barron.
I knew her very well. She was a soror too.
Yes, yes, very esteemed in the Cleveland community. And she led the charge for the National Coalition of 100 Black Women in this area. We have a number of advocacy and thrusts. We are unapologetic in our support for women and children of color, and we primarily are focused on, frankly, every facet of women and girls of color's lives: health, education, financial literacy, civic engagement. We are cornerstones and we are advocates for women and children, and in our platforms, in our memberships, and in our relationships with one another and with the community.
I like the word that you use. You're not apologetic, because sometimes when there is a call, I remember someone saying to me, I have some breakfast buddies and they're men. Why do black people have their own schools? And you try to explain, it's like you have to apologize for it. But you said that a coalition of 100 black women are not apologetic. There is a reason and it's a mission and it's a cause. It's necessary.
Absolutely.
And if something is necessary, it's no reason to apologize.
Absolutely.
Okay? That makes sense. Because people want you to say, well, I'm sorry, but we have our own. What are you sorry about if you have something that is really advantageous for the community?
As a group of women and as a population that historically has been disadvantaged, that is why we are unapologetic in that regard, that we're focused strictly on women and girls of color. And that's our platform. We put it out there, we raise scholarship money, we advocate, and we are here to support Miss JJ, Sora JJ Winston in that regard as well.
Okay. So since the founder here, and why did, okay, because, so Margaret Barron and her sister, they come up with, they brought the Coalition 100 Black Women to our community. In bringing it to our community, does the Coalition of 100 Black Women affiliate themselves with other organizations?
We do. We absolutely have a platform where we align. We have strategic alliances, both on a national scale and even on a local scale. For instance, one of our signature platforms to assist children deals with Garrett Morgan, which is on the east side of Cleveland. And as you're aware, that area is considered what's called a food desert, where, nutritional food is just not readily available in that area. So we have food pantries that our members provide to the children and the parents and the communities surrounding Garrett Morgan. And we regularly provide that, and we give food nutritional services and counseling as well, because we want to go from alpha to omega, from the beginning to the end of people's lives, so that they're enriched, they're nourished, and that they are successful, and that they have the tools that they need to move forward.
I like that comment that you made, because I've always learned, was taught that zip codes make a difference, but I never thought about the fact of when you're thinking about zip codes making a difference in education and so forth. I never thought about the food part. But you mentioned about the food part, and I had never even thought until you said that. And it come to mind, well, that includes food too when you talk about zip codes, because people be talking about living in certain zip codes so you can be this or be that, but they don't talk about the food. When we have so many people in our community who are without food. Right. That's interesting.
And without places to get food. So in some of our communities, we don't have grocery stores because they burnt down during the riots and they haven't been rebuilt. So it's really important for children, particularly in their educational efforts, that they actually get meals. If they don't eat, they're thinking about food as opposed to thinking about schoolwork. So I think it's really important. You guys should be commended for the work that you do.
Definitely. I didn't think about grocery stores either, but as I think about different areas I have traveled, and I've traveled a lot of places, in our communities, they are short of grocery stores. So, got the little corner stores, but that's not a grocery store where they can go and buy veggies.
Right.
And sometimes the corner stores have overpriced foods.
Right.
So people are spending what little monies they have just to try to get nutrition for their family. And if they lack transportation, they may not be in a position to go to a grocery store that is available to get enough food to be able to last 2 weeks. Like, that's what I do. I don't like to go to the grocery store, but I try to go and buy enough for 2 weeks.
That's an eye-opener.
Yeah.
Because I live in a community, we have so many grocery stores around there. You have to select which one you want to go to.
Yes.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. We never think about how fortunate we are. That's something. Okay, well, tell us a little bit about the membership, because we got a lot of time for you, Dr. J. We got plenty of time.
Okay.
About the membership. How can you become a member of the Coalition of 100 Black Women?
We want dynamic women, and we want people who are interested in working and giving back to the community.
I don't want to do that. I just want to be in something called name recognition.
We may not be the organization for you. But I highly doubt that, given your esteemed background. But we do have a website where we can be found at www.100bcgc, as in greatercleveland.org. Our president is Elizabeth Jones. And we also are very active in the community. We have a couple of really exciting activities coming up. So in addition to Garrett Morgan and those activities, if you live in the Woodbine area and you're listening to this, you can come out and participate in that, hear about the nutritional counseling. In addition, this upcoming Sunday, next Sunday, December 10th, at the Acacia Country Club, we're doing our annual African American Historical Tea, which supports our scholarship initiatives. And just this past year alone, we've raised $6,000. And over the last 6 years, we've raised, $4,000 this past year. And the last 6 years, $26,000 for graduating college seniors, high school seniors going to college for 4-year degrees.
That's cool. Well, thanks for tuning in to Tea and Honey with Dr. Gwen Jarvis. And this is News Talk Cleveland, WERE 1490 AM dial. You can always listen to us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, if you download the News Talk app from Google. Website is www.newstalkcleveland.com. You can also email me at teaandhoneydrgwen@gmail.com for any questions, comments, advertising, whatever, or either Facebook me at Tea and Honey, at Dr. Gwen, or just at Gwen Jarvis. Sobriety in Motion is a nonprofit organization striving to build and rebuild the lives of men one at a time with the help of the community, seeking community support and donations. To help and to lend your support, call Executive Director Larry Holmes at area code 216-526-5979 or Jeff Burrs, the Public Relations Director, at area code 216-664-5529.
Did you just look down at your phone? You did it again, didn't you? You know, you're flying down the road in a 3-ton hunk of steel, and a text takes your eyes off the road for an average of 5 seconds. At 55 miles per hour, that's long enough to travel the length of a football field and cause some serious damage. Turn it off. Trust me, whatever it is, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextsstopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Every 30 seconds, someone is abducted. Human trafficking. The old word is slavery. Again, every 30 seconds. Please join the team of A21 by contacting a21.org to put a halt to human trafficking. This affects every household.
Did you miss the Tom Joyner Morning Show?
Welcome to the Red Velvet Cake Studios, Rachel and Brian.
Thanks for having us.
From The Bachelorette.
Yes.
So what have you all discovered about each other since the proposal and now getting into the everyday thing? Anything that's just sticks out in your mind?
Just how much we have in common. I mean, she's so funny.
So what have you discovered that ticks you off?
I knew you were going to know that. I knew. See, we tried to bypass that, but you brought it back.
The Tom Joyner Morning Show, weekdays 6 to 9 a.m. on News Talk Cleveland, WERE, and streaming live at blackplanetradio.com.
Moms demand action against gun violence. Every city, every town in the United States of America, more than 100 people are shot a day from guns, and 7 of them happen to be our future adults, children. The first Wednesday of each month at the State House in Columbus, Ohio, please join Moms Demand Against Gun Violence. We need to protect and educate our community.
Did you know that the CDC recommends up to 6 vaccines, even for healthy adults? Or that vaccines are part of a healthy lifestyle, just like eating well and exercising? Or that choosing not to get vaccinated may put your health at risk? There's a lot to know when it comes to vaccines. Get the facts by visiting vaccinesandyou.com and talk to your doctor about which vaccines may be right for you. When it comes to your health, it pays to get the facts. Visit vaccinesandyou.com for more information.
A public service of Healthy Women and Merck.
We all got to where we are through hard work and a little help. Open a world of opportunity for a child or elder dreaming of a better tomorrow at unbound.org.
Groomed and educated through the Cleveland school system. Rain Eschelle Leland Newsom. She's an author, 2 books, and more on the way. You can hashtag her at authorrain at amazon.com. One of her books is Meet Me at Lush. It's not what you think it's about. I recommend that you read it. When a Woman Loves is another book. I'll only give you those 2 because they're enjoyable books to read, they're little books to read, and reading is not out of style. Go to amazon.com and pick up your copy of Meet Me at Lush or When a Woman Loves.
WERE Cleveland Heights, WENZ HD2, and WZAK HD3 Cleveland, and streaming live at blackplanetradio.com.
I always forget that. We are back, and you know what? While we were at break, I was trying to prepare this tea for us. You know, they don't know this, but not only is it our program entitled Tea and Honey, but you also be served tea and honey. So the tea that we're serving this time is Holiday Chime. I was in one of those grocery stores, And they had such a selection of tea for the holidays. It's like, oh my goodness, which one am I going to do? What? Da, 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 da. So I said, you know what? They had Christmas Eve, Christmas morning, da 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 da. I said, you know what? I'll just get holiday chai because it takes it all in. So we're having holiday chai, and I hope you all enjoy it. But however, I will just say I've already tried it because I was out of town last week, and I tried it with my family. And you might not need any sweeteners with it. I didn't need any sweeteners with it.
Okay.
And then another thing about tea is that people think that you can, when it comes to brewing, make sure you read the label because all teas do not brew the same. Some people says, oh, I don't like it, it's too bitter, because you might have brewed it too long or not long enough. So we make sure we pay attention to how it tells you to brew it. And some teas you drink them hot, some room temperature, and some of them cold. So there's a variation. And I'm not going to tell you how to drink this tea. You have to read it for yourself. And I know you can read because y'all, you know, them AKAs, they got to know how to do everything.
Will do.
Everything.
Thank you.
Okay. Our guest today is Teresa from 100 Coalition of 100 Black Women. She's sitting in for her president, who is not feeling too well. But if you're listening, President Elizabeth, take care because you got too much to do in the upcoming weeks. And then also for JJ, who's here talking to us, and she's got an interesting, sensitive discussion that the people of not only the Black community, but we all need to pay attention to, because I think that all these things going on in the world, everything is not drugs and alcohol. It's something else.
It is.
And that's how I feel. Okay. But we want to spend a little bit more time about the Coalition of 100 Black Women, because I remember when it first came here to Cleveland, and it was such a viable organization and such a good cause, and we want to make sure that this cause and the mission is so that people can understand it. So what I'd like for you to do, Tricia, is to give us that website again.
Absolutely. The website is www.nc100bwgc.org. National Coalition of 100 Black Women, Greater Cleveland.org.
All right. Now, where, when, and what time are your meetings?
We meet monthly on Tuesdays. The best way, we do have a contact section on our website. So the easiest way to get a hold of us in the meantime is to go to that website, go to the contact section, fill out the information, send it. Our president, Elizabeth Jones, will get it, and we can reach right back out to you. If you can't wait, you can come Sunday, December 10th to the Acacia Country Club for our annual scholarship tea, which starts at 11:30 a.m. to 3:30 on Sunday, December 10th.
Okay. Do you have a flyer so I can post it on my Facebook page?
I can get one for you.
Or either of you can just write it out and we'll just...
Absolutely. And it's on our website as well.
Okay. Because I'm not good at knowing how to post stuff, but I have someone who does it for me.
We'll take care of it.
You know, because
we'll take care of you.
Okay, we're working on that.
Thank you.
Okay. One other thing. I know that most national organizations have national programs. So, and the national program is to address the issues of what? What is your national program?
We have the same advocacy platforms. We tailor it to the greater Cleveland area, but overall we have a series of platforms that are geared toward civic engagement, voter registration, getting African American female candidates in office, getting them out there, because in order to see legislation that helps us and improves us, we have to have people that look like us that are out there who advocate for us. So that's our civic engagement piece. We have a health piece that looks to link up the disparities between African Americans and some of the health issues that are unique and specific to us. So again, similar to civic engagement, we look at health and those initiatives that are tailored toward African Americans. The same thing with education and financial literacy, closing those gaps for wages and for education. Again, our scholarships are toward high school seniors going to four-year colleges and universities, and we do that for a reason. We want to make sure that we can establish a platform for you to get the most education out there, to get the degree. So we're trying to set young women and girls up to achieve and for success.
Okay. What do you have a youth group per se? Do you have a youth area that you just deal with youth can be groomed? Or
Our
mentored?
educational.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, our educational arm.
Do they have to? The mother have to be a member or?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. They have to be people who are willing and interested in learning and growing, and we are there to help them in that regard.
Okay. All right. We know that this is a coalition of 100 black women.
Mm-hmm.
We can't do things without men, even though they, let me just try to see if I can work this right.
Okay.
We are the strong person, but we need the men.
Absolutely.
So what can they do?
They can support the coalition of black women. In general, they can support their black women. And, these men, they are husbands, they are partners, they're brothers, they're boyfriends of black women. So they can support by coming to the events, by encouraging, by uplifting. In all of those regards, that's what we're looking for, just in general life, and also for the coalition members.
Okay, all right. So men, you have a part to play, financial and even supporting the National Coalition of 100 Black Women here in the greater Cleveland area. So everybody has something to do. The men, the membership, the women, and we want to make sure that we be the best examples and support our future adults.
Yes.
Through education. I like that. I like that very much. Okay. Please restate for us the mission so that people can be clear on the mission. We have so many organizations. We have sororities and we got local organizations, national, international. What is the mission, if you can restate it for our listeners?
We have a very specific mission and a very specific goal, and that is to improve, uplift the overall professional, personal, and moral development of women and children of color. And again, as we discussed earlier, we are unapologetic and we are unafraid in promoting those platforms in a global perspective for women and children of color.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Sorrel, for being
you.
here. Didn't know you were Sorrel, but that's okay. That is fine. So this is not an AKA thing, but she's here talking about the Coalition for 100 Black Women, which is a collaboration of women, period.
Yes.
And again, we want to shout out to President Elizabeth. Take care. And also for Marcella, I know you busy doing something because I know you. All right. Let's spend some time talking about the main course of the hour. We have JJ here, Walker, and she's going to share with us a very intense, needed conversation. So where do you want to start?
Well, because of the 100 Black Women of Cleveland, I'm going to be doing a workshop that they will be sponsoring on December 9th at 2 p.m. at the Solon Library on coping with the holiday blues. We believe that this is a really necessary topic. What we need to be candid and cognitive of is that the holidays isn't good for everybody. For some people, the holidays are really bad because they don't have some of the things that maybe we have going on. They don't have people to share it with. They're dealing with losses. Maybe they have financial problems where they can't, buy gifts. There's numerous reasons that can cause people to have anxiety and stress during the holidays. And sometimes those anxieties and stresses can become, mental health issues. So basically, that's what we're going to talk about. So sometimes, people are having what we call holiday sadness blues, and that's a little bit different than depression. There's also SAD, which is seasonal affective disorder. There are different things that can be happening during the holidays that we're going to, educate the community about.
I heard yesterday on one of the radio stations, because I've been flipping through so many of them, and they're encouraging people not to, to kind of help with the depression for the holidays is to decorate.
I think that if you can, that's a good thing to do. But what I think that's happened in our world is we've become over commercialized in respect to the holidays. I mean, I know when I was growing up, you didn't have Black Friday on Thanksgiving. Mm-hmm. People spent Thanksgiving with their family.
Exactly.
You know, and so what's happened is that our kids are in a situation. If you can't afford to financially provide them with all the things all the other kids have, it's like you can just see there's a bigger gap between people who have and people who don't. Mm-hmm. It's more glaring than it was when I was a child.
Commercial.
Very commercial.
Trying to make the money. And it's so interesting you said that because they went straight from Thanksgiving, they went straight from Halloween to Christmas.
Yes.
Right. And no regards for Thanksgiving, to be thankful that we not only have life, we have a country, we have so many things to be thankful for, and it's all about commercialism. Yeah.
And there's a psychologist in the UK, I believe, named Linda Blair, who did a study that was just recently released that shows that people who listen to a lot of holiday music become depressed because it basically reminds you of everything that you need to get done. So if we're already starting in, Halloween, October, you're reminded of all the things you have to do to prepare for the holiday season. The gifts you have to buy, the parties you have to go to, the foods you have to prepare for all of these different events. So it can actually make you depressed. And they said actually people who work in stores are at higher risk because they keep playing all that music all the time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. Well, just tell us a little bit about depression. Just, we talking about holiday stress, but depression itself, how can we define depression? How can you share with us what depression is?
Well, there's a lot of different, there's a lot of symptoms of depression. But first, let's start with some of the numbers.
Okay.
I would say about 16 million people, 6.9%, they say, has a major depression as reoccurring. But really, what we would say is that probably about 20 to 25% of our population has a mental health issue. So that's 1 in 4. Now, there's only 3 of us here. But
well, how do you know if you're depressed?
Well, there's some things that may be happening with your physical. You might be tired. You might feel sick. You might sleep a lot. You may have reoccurring thoughts of suicide or death. You may have poor concentration. You may have a change in your appetite or weight, low energy. But what we need to be careful of is before we decide that someone has a diagnosis of depression, they first need to have a full physical, because there are some physical conditions that mimic depression.
Well, that sounds like that's going to take a minute. So hold on to that thought.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning in to 10 Honey with Dr. Gwen Jarvis. This is News Talk Cleveland, WEREAM. Website is www.newstalkcleveland.com. And our guest today who's talking to us about depression is JJ Winston. And the event is going to be held... Okay. All right. So we're going to announce that in a few minutes. Stay tuned in to 10 Honey with Dr. Gwen Jarvis.
NewsTalkCleveland.com.
Sobriety in Motion is a nonprofit organization striving to build and rebuild the lives of men one at a time with the help of the community, seeking community support and donations. To help and to lend your support, call Executive Director Larry Holmes at area code 216-526-5979 or Jeff Burrs, the Public Relations Director, at area code 216-664-5529.
love, plus love equals love.
This is Sister Juanita Shealy inviting you to tune in every Sunday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. to listen to God's saving word. You will find
Joanne Toppoli,
Danny Carlton,
and many wonderful guests to inspire, affirm, and challenge you. So we'll see you. God bless you.
Groomed and educated through the Cleveland school system. Rain Eschelle Leland Newsom. She's an author, 2 books, and more on the way. You can hashtag her at authorrain at amazon.com. One of her books is Meet Me at Lush. It's not what you think it's about. I recommend that you read it. When a Woman Loves is another book. I'll only give you those 2 because they're enjoyable books to read, they're little books to read, and reading is not out of style. Go to amazon.com and pick up your copy of Meet Me at Lush or When a Woman Loves.
Don't miss the Tom Joyner Morning Show.
So everybody does the Christmas countdown, but nobody counts down to Kwanzaa.
You're right, Tom.
Well, it's 24 days away, all right?
Thank
On a
you.
Bell Crawford Friday, Batman's Corner and Empty Stomach Thoughts, Magic Johnson, Jackie Reed, and Huggy announces the Bama of the Week. All that and more on the next TJMS.
The Tom Joyner Morning Show, tomorrow morning from 6 till 9 a.m. on News Talk 1490 WERE and streaming live at blackplanetradio.com.
Moms demand action against gun violence. Every city, every town in the United States of America, more than 100 people are shot a day from guns, and 7 of them happen to be our future adults, children. The first Wednesday of each month at the State House in Columbus, Ohio, please join Moms Demand Against Gun Violence. We need to protect and educate our community.
Hi, I'm Paul Stark.
And I'm Brian Stark from the Stark Group Live Talking Real Estate.
Every Thursday night at 7, we teach you how the pros make money.
And lose money.
In the world of real estate.
You know, more millionaires have been made in real estate than in any other business in history.
Brian, you know how to make $1 million in real estate?
Sure I do. Start with $2 million.
But seriously, even in today's market, now is the time to start building your real estate fortune.
That's right. So tune in to the Stark Group Live Talking Real Estate Thursday nights at 7 right here on 1490 AM WERE.
Every 30 seconds, someone is abducted. Human trafficking. The old word is slavery. Again, every 30 seconds. Please join the team of A21 by contacting a21.org to put a halt to human trafficking. This affects every household.
1490 WERE traffic.
Good afternoon. It's a slow and wet start, but an accident-free start for our drive home for a Thursday. Our traffic update brought to you by the Foundation for a Better Life. We're going to be on the brakes with slowdowns already with Interbolt travel south between Deadman's Curve and Carnegie being slow, and also seeing slowdowns on 271 south between 480 and 14. Again, that's traffic volumes having you on the brakes, and slow down through your neighborhoods as your kids and my kids are ending their Thursday. Winston Churchill's words stared his country in the face of defeat. Today, they can inspire us to reach for our own victories. Commitment, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com. I'm Tony Rankin on Cleveland's News Talk 1490 WERE AM, the People Station.
Tuning in with Tea and Honey with Dr. Gwen Jarvis. And before we move forward in our conversation with JJ, I have a couple of announcements regarding the Coalition of 100 Black Women. And you know, when you come to this show, we always ask you to bring paper and pencil because you got to take some notes. Got to take notes. I learned that a long time ago that we must take notes. The event for the Coalition of 100 Black Women is going to be the event for Judy Jackson, who is the author of the anniversary, Surviving the Holidays. Her workshop is going to be, if I can see it here, it's going to be Saturday, December the 9th at 2 o'clock at the Solon Library. at the Solon Library, which is it on Psalm Center?
If it's on like Poltz Parkway.
Okay, they only have one library out there. I've been to it.
That's it.
I'm a library junkie.
There you go.
I've been almost every library around. So it's out there in Solon. So we want to make sure that we attend that event. Solon is nowhere to go to. If you can go downtown Cleveland, you can ride out to Solon because this is a very vital and necessary conversation that she's going to have with us. Now let's get back to JJ so she can finish her conversation, sharing with us. Okay. Tell us a little bit about the fiction, about the anniversary.
Well, the book is a fiction book. Just to give you a little bit of background about me, I have both a bachelor's and a master's degree in social work. I'm a licensed independent social worker with supervisory designation, and I'm also an attorney. Presently, I work in domestic relations court as a magistrate judge, but I left the Adams Board after being there for 19 years, where I was the advocate for all the people of Cuyahoga County who have both mental health and or drug and alcohol issues. So I've worked with hundreds, if not thousands, of people throughout the course of my career. And I decided that in order for us sometimes to get the information, we have to entertain. We have to be entertained in order to give this type of information. It's a sensitive topic in our community. There's a lot of stigma attached to mental health in our community, for good reason, too. You know, sometimes we have to look at why people have stigmas. We had reason why we told our children, you don't go and tell people all our business.
Is that the reason why?
Stigma? Yeah. Because what would happen is you go and tell people our information, social workers come and take our kids. They try to sometimes, the majority community may not mean any harm, but sometimes they've been harmful to our community. Because what they do is they view our problems through their lenses. So let's use a better example. Let's talk about something a little bit off topic, but when we spank our children, you know, that's something that we've done historically, but not because we are violent people or we want to harm our children. It's because we had to teach our kids that when we say do something, we mean it now. Because if you didn't, it could be the difference between life or death for your family. If you had a young African-American child that said the wrong thing to the wrong white person, you know, when we were living in times after slavery, that could be your house and everybody in your house being harmed when they burn it down. So if I tell you to do something, I had to make you fearful, more fearful of me than anybody else, because it wasn't just the child that can get hurt, it's the whole family that could get hurt. But when you would have others come and view our circumstance, they would just see that you spanked your child. And they would see what they consider the violence attached to that and not understand the reasoning. So what we've done is we've told our children and our community, you don't go out and start telling other people all our business.
So that means we almost have to restructure the family and the conversations we have so that we can understand and they can understand that there's really a purpose, there's a need for it.
We need to talk, and we need to not feel embarrassed about something that's a medical condition. So if you're having mental health issues, it doesn't mean you have bad character. It doesn't mean you're weak. It may mean that you need to go and get some medical intervention. If you have diabetes, nobody says, hey, you're weak. You know, they say we have sugar, but you have diabetes. It's a condition. And you need help for it. If you need insulin, no one's going to say that you're damaged because of that. But what we have done is sometimes what we'll do is we'll say, hey, you know, you must be weak. You don't believe in the God. You need to go pray. If something's going on with you, pray harder and may be able to get better.
Yeah, that's what we hear. Right.
And what we need to do as a community is change the conversation. And I'm willing to put myself out there and try and do that.
Well, I look forward to attending this. this event because I think this would be good for everybody. And you have to come back and further this discussion with us. And I'm glad that you shared with us because there's more meaning about your past, your education and your past, so that people can understand what brought you to being who you are today and your purpose in doing so. But can you tell us this stuff? They keep telling me we only have a few more minutes left. So, but I have to share this before we leave. The National Coalition of 100 Black Women, the Cleveland chapter, having their historical American Tea, is going to be Sunday, December 10th at the Acadia Reservation at 26889 Cedar Avenue, Beechwood, Ohio. There's going to be a brunch from 11:30 to 3:30. The tickets are $55. And I love the part about hats and gloves because I love hats and gloves. Mm-hmm. I will also put this on my Facebook page and about the 9th, which is the day before that, so that we can participate and join in on learning about more about J.J. Winston and being the author of the anniversary. And this is going to be Saturday the 9th at 2:30 at the Solon Library. So we got things to do. We cannot say in this community, in this city, that we have nothing to do because there is always something to do. There are some things that cost money and some things that don't. And I think, Tricia, you have an announcement to make about what we can look forward to in 2018 for the Coalition of 100 Black Women?
Yes, the future is very bright and very productive for the Greater Cleveland chapter of 100 Black Women. Each year, we acknowledge a woman of vision and we award scholarships. And next year, March 18th, 2018, we will have our annual Women of Vision luncheon at the Hilton Doubletree Hotel. And additional information is on our website, nc100bwgc.org.
And this information you will all be able to find on both of my Facebook pages. And if you have any questions, comments, or whatever, you feel free to Facebook me, inbox me on my Facebook page, message me, or email me at tandhoneydrgwen@gmail.com because we receive and we try to respond to all the emails that we get. So we want to brace ourselves and get ready for this holiday season so that we don't go through this depression. Isn't that right, JJ?
That's right. And also, after the presentation, I will have my book, The Anniversary, available. I will be selling them and signing them. And remember, books make great presents. As well.
They do. And
the book is also at the Cleveland Library, so you also can go and take it out and read it.
Okay, so I always have a book of the month, so that's the book of the month for December is going to be The Anniversary, so that's what I'll be reading.
Thank
you
so much.
One thing about that event, we're also very proud to have some partners with us. Adams Board, NAMI, Cornerstone of Hope, and the Grief Counseling Services of Olivet Institutional Baptist Church.
True. Well, I own a sober living house for men, so I see if I can get my men to come too.
Okay, and also we'll have one other guest, Rochelle Apajudu, who I always say her name incorrectly. Rochelle, forgive me. But she will also speak and give us her personal account of dealing with tragedy.
Okay, so we have things to do. I look forward to... We have to leave with a holiday quote. The holiday season is the perfect time to reflect on the blessings and seek out ways to make life better for those around us. And that's by someone who is unknown. Thanks for being my guest. You're welcome to come back anytime. This is Tea and Honey with Dr. Gwen Jarvis, 1490 WERE.
The proceeding was a paid program brought to you by Ofina International. The views and opinions expressed are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of this station or its management.